Hi everybody, and welcome to this little mini tutorial. For those of you who have not found the Facebook group yet, the link is below. I was out in the garden the other day and found this beautiful dandelion, and where it had blown in the wind, its little seeds had been caught in a spider web, and it kind of inspired this little mini journal tutorial. So I've got a strip of watercolour paper here that I've just ripped down into a strip, and spraying it with water just to dampen it down, and then adding some bands of watercolour, just in different pathways, letting the whole watercolour piece become like a long path. So one thing that's really important when you're using watercolours is to really dry off in between those layers. Any watercolour paint will redistribute itself as soon as you put any water in it. But you can get some lovely layers if you just give yourself a nice drying off in between those bits, and that's what I'm doing here. Folding the paper over and dampening it down on those sheets underneath as well means that I splatter those watercolours out a bit, and of course it means that the paper that I've got underneath, my scrap paper, I've got some beautiful patterns on there which I will absolutely use later. So here you can see again, just getting that hairdryer out, blow dryer, and just blowing it all off, allowing there to be some drips running all over those pieces just to make some interest. And here I'm putting a really watery layer of yellow just at the top, just brushing my brush along the edge of the paper, and then spraying it down just to let those drips run down again. Just lots and lots of thin layers. You'd be surprised how you can see everything all the way through down to the first layers through this watercolour. So here I've got some Daler-Rowney ink in yellow and also Daler-Rowney in pearlescent pink, and I put the pink on top of the yellow blobs and then spray with water, and you get these blemishes and blooms of colour. I'm going to dry that off with some kitchen towel and then the blow dryer. It just means that I don't really want that ink to kind of go all over the pieces. I just wanted sections of blossoming colour, and just drying it down with that kitchen paper just meant that I didn't have excess to blow all over. Now this ink, I don't know what this is. It's a sparkly ink in a bottle. It's really lovely, it's green, but I don't know, I picked it up, somebody donated it to me somewhere, so if anybody knows, it's sparkly and it's yummy, and it looks really good on top of watercolour. So just drying that off now. And I got out my Neo colours here. So you'll see in a minute. I started off, I really liked it, and then I didn't like it, and then I liked it again. So I put some water on top of it just to bleed it out, and then it wasn't purple enough, so I added some extra watercolour, and then once I dried it off, it just looked a bit too dark. And this is the bonus with watercolours really, because I could then squirt it down with some water and it paled it down again. You just want to be a little bit careful because you don't want it to go too muddy. This is a cheaper acrylic ink actually from Art Van Gogh that I've just sprinkled that pink all over. Again, I'm not going for anything formed, just this is all about spring really, and little blemishes and blooms of colour just popping up all over this page. It's really good fun actually when you look really closely at this to see how the inks and the watercolours play with each other. So this is a bit of a fun trick. Don't forget that what I'm going for in the end is that dandelion clock kind of flicking all over the page. So I wanted to use a white paint, and I started off, it was a bit too thick, so just added some water into that dish you can see, and then just using the head of a toothbrush just to flick. It's not brilliantly in focus here, but you get the gist. I'm just flicking that kind of head of that paintbrush and getting these spatterings of white. And again, drying and drying. That's a lot of what you do with watercolour and ink. Okay, so now it's dry enough. I'm going to start folding it up, and I wanted to make a very simple little journal, so I'm just folding it and using my boning tool to get some nice scored edges, folding and folding and folding, and it doesn't really matter which way your folds go at this stage as long as you've got them there. And then once I've got all those creases, I can fold it up and make a concertina, like a fan. And then I get hold of my glue stick. I really like a Tombow, they're the stickiest for me, and I'm going to stick each white section to itself, if that makes sense. And this will mean that when I open it all up, I've got a little tiny journal, just, you know, really sweet, just 4 or 5 pages. So I'm going to grab here my gel pens. I've got a white, a pink, an orange, a yellow. I've got my gold, my most favourite gold pen in the whole world, and I've also got a grey pen, not a black. I don't want to put too much black in this piece yet, because I've got some writing that's going to go on here and I want that to be my black. So just different marks really. With the white, I decided to put little dashes inside the pink splodges. I think with this yellowy green, I just coloured in sections just to offer a little bit of an interesting bit, a little highlight. The orange I made little squares with, which I then echoed with the gold pen. And with the pink, you'll see I just draw little lines and I connect little bits. And then I get hold of the grey pen at the end and I make some kind of abstract flowers at the bottom of the page. So just while you're watching me colour all these bits in and have fun, I just wanted to let you know that if you haven't subscribed already to this YouTube channel, please do. We love to hear your comments. Lucy and I are often popping things up on here, and it's a different way to watch how we work. And of course, if you want to be part of our Facebook page, our Facebook community, we have 2 live tutorials a week, which you can come in and you can comment, and you know, we have a right good banter. And we also have a summer school during the summer season of 2019. If you're watching this before that, you're more than welcome to join us for that. But definitely hit the subscribe button and come and join us on Facebook. Okay, you all remember that dandelion picture, right? So this is the inspiration for my piece, and now I'm going to experiment with different colours and different pens just to see if I can recreate something that looks like the dandelion. It comes out all right in the end. So I start off with this grey again. I'm really liking this grey fine liner actually. It's a lot of fun to play with. Just picking out different bits and pieces. It's a really pretty grey. It's quite, you know, charcoaly grey. And then the white. Now, if you're anything like me, all of your whites tend to fade out with time, so I go between one to another until I find the one that's really got quite a lot of ink in it. Something to remember about the Uniball Signo Broads, which is my white of choice, You do have to work fairly slowly with them. They're not like a normal ink pen that you can just write with. You have to give them their time. This is tuning in now using the yellow just to highlight some of those little sections on those seeds. And then I use the white to kind of give the impression that this is a round solid ball. So I'm just drawing some little lines around it. And then the idea is that this is like a picture storybook, and that those seeds are traveling on in the world as they do, separating and dividing. So I just kind of keep playing with the shape. I have the picture that I took that I've shown you in this video a number of times. I've got that in the background as a reference picture, but I'm just playing and exploring what the different pens can offer in terms of recreating this picture. So I'm really enjoying playing with this kind of puffy shape. Just adding those circles just kind of made them pop for me, turn them into those little cotton buds that they are. And then I'm going to start with my story now. I'm not going to show you how I'm writing it all, but needless to say, it's a bit deep down and emotional. You know me, girls. It's all about a little seed and how it separates and splits. You'll see that at the end of the piece. What I decide to do in a minute is get hold of my lovely kind of, what are they? They're like liquid metals by Robinson and Co. And these are an absolutely gorgeous paint. And I just dot those over in various areas. And then I heat them with a heat gun for a little bit just to let them go solid. And then I've put some little bits and pieces around the actual dandelion clocks. And when you smooth it out, so when you have it as a bobble, you get these lovely kind of hard sections. And then when you soften it out, you get this translucent kind of pearlescent paint, which you see glinting in the sunlight. So this is my little story about a little dandelion, and you can read the words obviously and enjoy. So once again, I hope you like what you've seen. If you'd like to subscribe, hit that button, and we'll see you on the Facebook page. See you soon, everyone.